Hi everyone. So in this episode of Scary Sunday, I'm going to tell you my ghost story. So when I was 13, my family moved down from Johannesburg to Jeffreys Bay. And we didn't have a lot of money. So my dad rented this house in Wavecrest, Jeffreys Bay. And I'm going to refer to it as the White House. And it was a big house, but it was a very old house and it wasn't very well maintained. The paint was kind of peeling off the walls outside, and it needed a lot of maintenance, but it was the best that we could do as a time for the family, so we moved in. Now, the first night that we moved in, as soon as I stepped foot into that house, and now I was 13 years old, I'd never seen a ghost before. I was never interested in ghosts. I used to maybe watch like one or two episodes of Ghost Hunters, but it was nothing like an obsession or anything. But as soon as I got into the house, I just felt like I was being watched. I felt like there were hundreds of eyes on me that would follow me. And it's a really creepy feeling if you haven't experienced it. But I mean, I'm sure we've all felt that feeling of eyes on us and looked up and seen someone looking at us, maybe at the robot from another car, or um, basically looking at us. And this is a human instinct that has been bred into us because when soldiers go to war, they are taught not to stare at someone if they want to come up behind the person, because we have that survival instinct to sense when we are being watched. So I was felt like I was being watched, and it was really creepy. I went to my mom that night and I said, "Mom, this house is really creepy. I don't really want to stay here." And she said to me, she was like, "Carri-Ann, well, we don't have a choice, we made this new move. We don't have the finances. You just have to grin and bear it." So creepy stuff started happening pretty soon. And the first thing I'm going to talk about is the nightmares. So um, the way the house was laid out was the main bedroom, my parents' bedroom, was upstairs, and my bedroom and my sister's bedroom was downstairs. And there was this really long corridor with bedrooms downstairs, and then across from it, it was like bathrooms. It almost looked like a sort of a hotel setup at one stage. I'm not sure on the history of the house. And yeah, I don't want to say where the location is, but people from Jeffreys Bay, perhaps if you've stayed in there, you'll know what I mean. Now, what happened was that creepy things started happening like pretty soon after we moved in. And my sister and I would have terrible nightmares. I mean, my sister, she's younger than me, she's 9 years younger. So she was about maybe 3 or 4 at the time. And she would have her own room, and then I'd be in the room next to her. And what would happen is that she would wake up in the middle of the night and she would go upstairs to my parents' room. And this happened so often because of the nightmares that my parents eventually just put a mattress in their room for my sister because they knew she was going to come up every night. And that left me downstairs alone, right? And I would have these awful nightmares of like horrible things being done to people in that house. And I would wake up in like almost like a sweat, like a hot sweat. And things started becoming creepier from then. I remember there was an Avril Lavigne CD that had been released. I think it was her second one. I was so into Avril Lavigne when I was younger. And I had a little CD player where you would pop the CD on the top and then you would play. And I was in my room one day listening to Avril Lavigne, like an average 13-year-old, blasting it on loud. And then all of a sudden, the CD player just started skipping in front of me. And it just started going skip, 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 skip. And then it skipped to song number 8. And then I was like, okay, well, this is weird. What's going on with my CD player? And then I took the CD out and then I put it back in again, and then I was already playing from the beginning, and then the same thing sort of happened, and then it started skipping to number 8. And this happened so often, and I don't know if it was something wrong with the CD. I was still a little bit skeptical at this point. Then I decided, okay, well, I guess I'm not listening to Avril Lavigne, because this is creeping me out that your CD player is skipping the whole time. Now, my cousin Nikki came to come and visit from Joburg, and she came to come and stay with us. And there was a spare room next to my room that she was staying in. So this is when the incident happened, when I saw what I believe is a ghost. So what happened was that we were staying up late. It was a weekend. She was my older cousin. She was so cool to be around. I just wanted to hang around with her all the time. And it was late. It was about 2, maybe 3 o'clock in the morning. And we were just staying up chatting. And then she went to go take a shower in one of the bathrooms across from the room. And I was sitting in a chair, an armchair, which was facing the door. And remember, this door leads out into a long corridor. And I was basically reading a book and waiting for my cousin to come out of the shower so we can continue chatting. We were talking about boys and, things that teenagers talk about. And I heard the water stop because the water was running, and then I realized, like, okay, then something's going on here. She's going to be in the room now. And then I felt like as though I felt like she came into the room. And this is like the same thing that happens. Like, let's say you are busy doing something, and then you can just sense, like, maybe your husband or your wife goes past you. I don't really know how to articulate the feeling, but you sense a human presence, or a presence of something. And then I remember I looked up from my book, and I was expecting to see my cousin, but instead I saw this, like, thing. And it creeps me out even to talk about it today. So it was black. It was big, and it was like this black shadow, but it was in the shape of a human, and it was almost like pixelated, like, when you zoom in to a camera so close and then like the pixels emerged. It was almost pixelated because I could see the wall behind it, and it was moving down the corridor. Now, guys, I was in almost a hijacking with my mom in Joburg. My roommate was stabbed. I've been through some scary shit in South Africa. But let me tell you, the level of fear that I felt at that moment when I saw that thing was like a sort of a primal fear, sort of like a primal human instinct fear of like that this thing wanted to do me harm. And I've never had that type of fear ever since. And this is through the attempted hijacking, through when my roommate got stabbed. And this is just like, it was just something so complex. My brain almost couldn't process it, what was happening. Okay, I see we're running out of video here, so let's go on to part 2.